What up, traders? What up, investors? Thank you for stopping by for another fantastic live stream. We have a lot to cover tonight. We have Bitcoin hitting nearly 16% today, this is Sunday evening, so up nearly $4,000 just today. When I looked at it earlier, when I was around 6 o'clock, it was only up about 12%. Now, coming back to the computer here in the system, I'm seeing it up pretty more significantly higher, up another 4%, and they continue to climbing out. Had an initial some resistance around $27,000. We've seen that and have exceeded that quite substantially here. There's there's a lot that could be kind of going on to where we could be going next. This is, I think, going to be kind of hitting the pedal to the metal here and really seeing some FOMO coming in and potentially seeing some very high capitulations going through with. We've kind of seen this kind of movement before when people got their very first stimulus check. We had a lot of people just go out and buy stocks, trade in the market, buy Bitcoin or things like that. Like more people would considerably think maybe people like, hey, everyone's going to go out buy a big TV or whatever. Actually, people are going one step above that and they're actually trying to improve and make things better. But sometimes they're not really doing the most thing going there. Yeah, question is how much longer can it go? Yeah, that is the $1 billion or $1 trillion question, whatever. SY, thank you for joining, my friend. Really seeing on where we could be going with these levels. Again, we were looking at these, like, I wouldn't even call it extended because, again, it's Bitcoin. It has had pretty drastic moves if you've followed Bitcoin since its inception, with very large fluctuations. With that being said, looking here on the daily chart, we've had pullbacks to the 21 EMA twice in the past month or so, with pretty vicious kind of V-shaped recoveries from that. Not saying that it has to come back down to 20,000 to potentially see another bounce, but this huge gap up is a little scary for me, a little bit more of like a red flag that's waving around, with the understanding of like, hey, this is something that really could be turning into a bull trap, really could be catching some people off kilter here, and people who are just trying to throw money at it, and rather just having some people that are a little more smart effect on it, and really see on how that really plays out. Because again, if you ask the person who owns or trading, or they're trying to get into Bitcoin, if they own ticker symbol G, Grayscale, BTC, or they own, like Michael just said, the Square and PayPal, Michael, I think those stocks will go higher just because of that, honestly, because they have such a large component within their portfolio. And I don't know the companies off the top of my head. I know there's a couple companies who've taken their cash reserves or their cash on hand, a very small equitable amount, maybe I think it was 5 to 10% of their cash on hand, and they put it right into Bitcoin. And that was a couple months ago when Bitcoin was around 10 or 12,000. So that cash on hand, which was maybe getting less than 0.05% from a savings account or whatever, kind of just sitting in cash in a bank, it's now literally has gone up 100%. And even more than that, almost 200% in the same kind of time frame. So it's been something to be pretty. I think it's an interesting time. I'm not that old. I'm only 33, 32. How old am I? I don't even know how old I am. Lived through the first Bitcoin bubble that happened in February of 18, and really saw that really really kind of come into crashing kind of mentality there, and that scared a lot of people. And a lot of people, if you look here on the Bitcoin chart, this thing hasn't really seen much of anything in the last couple of years. It just, again, right when these futures came available within the trading on Thinkorswim and a lot of other trading platforms, That's kind of was one of the top, because the coming to December, January, February, we saw those really large kind of pullbacks here, and really sees that come that down to the $3,000 level, and at the same time, kind of coming back and just kind of being somewhat dormant for many, 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 many years. That's definitely something to be very, very mindful about on this very large rip higher. Not saying it doesn't have staying power. I think just most people just don't quite understand the functions or the things that Bitcoin could really help. Really, I was super ecstatic about Ethereum, and I still am. Like, I currently don't own any Ethereum, but that is the one that I was very heavy in back in 2017 to 2017 to early 2016. Late 2016 to early 2017, which I was getting into Ethereum when it was below $100, and that thing had a nice run up to nearly $1,500. So that was I wouldn't say once in a lifetime opportunity, but it was a fantastic opportunity to really catch a huge wave like that. But yeah, the Bitcoin, it's just going to be something that I have to kind of watch from afar. I do own a tiny bit of ticker symbol GBTC. So this is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, the only like ETF that helps investors, and really an investor grade, excuse me, investor grade platform that allows people to get into Bitcoin. This can easily going to be, this is probably going to be a well above 35 to well above 32 to $35 tomorrow. So looking to see on how that one reacts. Again, looking for potentially some overhead pressure kind of coming in around the $42 range. Which was looking at Bitcoin as well, potentially looking at some headwinds at those very high levels. Anyways, let's go ahead and just kind of look at some charts here. Got a lot of folks coming in. I greatly appreciate it. All right, looks like Greg B, what's up, my friend, wants to talk about space. Yes, that's had a pretty interesting kind of a bounce back here. Again, with space, Virgin Galactic, love the company. Very speculative play. Really doesn't have any kind of revenue really profound yet if you're looking at a fundamental standpoint. Technically speaking, got some overhead pressure in that $35 range. We've hit it again with some really successful stuff, then came right back down. This thing really does kind of trade within those Fibonacci numbers that we're kind of seeing here. Initially looking for some support around $25 to $24 here, maybe bouncing around a little bit here. If we can kind of get the 5 and 8 moving averages to kind of start curling back up through the yellow line here and really potentially test that level around $29 to $30, and maybe see a breakout above those parabolic SAR dots, which are those little purple guys here, really kind of holding the trend down. Because again, it has been kind of somewhat recovering here. I'm not seeing currently any earnings on the charts here coming through here. So again, this could be somewhat of a quiet period. Would be an easy buy for me. Again, my position size is basically around the $17 to $15 level with my leaps. Potentially could see that come back down to that level. Again, this thing, super speculative, to be ready for a pretty strong correction to either direction, really coming back down. If that 25 or basically the 24.50 doesn't hold, we're going to be looking for $21, and then again coming back down to that potentially $18 to $16 range there, my friends. Hey Ken, all things all well. What are your thoughts on Apple 115? What's the call strike for Apple? Yeah, if you can tell me the call strike, if it's like the 130s or 135s, I think that's going to be pretty. I think it's very well doable. I do own some further dated. By further dated, I mean like February, March. Apple calls around the 130. Sorry, I own the 120s, the 130s, and like the 155s. I usually kind of do like a spread like that. 135, that's perfect. I think you'll be just fine, honestly, with that, depending on what your intentions are for Apple. If you're trying to own the stock at that price, I think again, if you look here on the trading tab here, you'll see for January expiration, the monthlies, we have a move of $10, and we're at $131. I think that could easily get to that level, because again, the next overhead pressure really is around 137, and 135 is on the way up there. So it's not going to be my favorite cup of tea because it is a little bit short dated for me. That's 19 days out. If you have some profit in it, maybe consider rolling it into February and giving yourself some more time, because that theta decay around 21 days really kicks in. It could really potentially, if the market does have a pullback, it could kind of hurt your account, if depending on how much you have invested into that particular sector or that particular call. Usually if a call is not in the money by, like, I don't know, again, this is not stone, I'm not writing this in stone, basically within like 21 to like 27 days, that theta decay pretty much ramps up, and that stock really needs to move, since that particular stock is basically, so they're going by fives, or they're going by single ones. So there is a lot of open interest there, a lot of volume. So you are playing some with the herd. So this could get a potential boost higher again. Currently we're seeing the S&P 500 up nearly a little over 0.6%, or 0.6, nearly a little over 0.5%, $22 here, and also the Nasdaq up nearly the same amount, about 0.6% as well. So I think that would probably really ensue that Apple could get a nice little pinch higher here in the next coming days as well. FireEye, FireEye. I had such a great trade on this sucker. Did not expect for this to kind of, I don't know what even happened here. Like, Russia hacked multiple companies, stolen data, blah, blah, blah. FireEye was one of those folks, and really bought this dip here around like $14 and some options, and saw it blow up and just get out at this really much, like almost 3-4 times my options value in a couple days. I had no idea. I left so much money on the table. I should have let like 1 or 2 runners go on seeing this kind of move higher. Because again, once I saw it kind of hit that $17 to $18 range, I was just kind of out of it. But seeing this kind of movement now, this has been absolutely insane. And if you're in this, God bless you, because again, we hit that first overhaul resistance around $24.90, or basically $25, and kind of bounced right off of that. This move is super extended here. That doesn't mean that it has to come pull back, but this is something I cannot buy at these levels. Michael says MGNA and I. MGNI. Wow, that's a very interesting stock here as well. Really kind of ripping higher here. This is, no, I was gonna say this is a SPAC, because it's like been trading potentially around that $10 range. Yeah, this thing is definitely a very interesting stock. I'm not sure what the company does, but very nice trend. But again, it is a little bit it is on the extended side with the RSI and the volumes on oscillator, but that does not mean it can't go higher. Again, really looking for this potentially. It's really hard to kind of look at these really strong parabolic moves here and really kind of give it any kind of a price target, because again, we're not seeing a really significant pullback. Because again, this stock was just a couple weeks ago, really was around $4 or $5, and now we're seeing it at 32. So initially looking at this, we could potentially, again, really far extended away from the 5 and 8 moving averages. If we start drawing some fibs here, we can get a potential movement here. Let's do this. Boop. Potentially looking at for some initial overhaul. Yeah, I was gonna say around $40, so around 40.79 to 40.78 to around the $41 range, potentially getting be the next overhead line of overhead pressure kind of coming in there. But that being said, with these, a lot of, like, I wouldn't say red flags, but a lot of these movements down here being very much overbought here and very much on the volumes on oscillator going higher here. This could be somewhat of a norm to kind of potentially even pull back to 26. It's going to be the next very short-term support around 26, and then stronger support around the $20 to $19 level there. Nicholas's TUP has like 90% insider ownership. That's always good. Tupperware brand. This is someone brought this one up such a long time ago on really talking about this stock. Like, I think it was like right after the large crash, and maybe it was like the May timeframe. I think it was like the month of May. And I was looking at this chart here and I was like, if it can finally break above the 200 EMA here on the daily chart, we could get a move going higher here. And that was at $8, and now it's at $38. Like, wow, like absolutely insane here. Tupperware Brands is the company that sells the Tupperware containers, all the different various kitchen accessories and things like that. I don't know the business model very well. What the heck? I clicked on the wrong button. Sorry, one second. There we go. The various different like kitchen accessories and things like that. With this being said, I kind of like the setup here, to be quite honest with you. Whoever wrote this, who was this? Who was that? So with this kind of like a pullback here, it held the 34 EMA here on the daily chart pretty well here. It did hit the 50-day just for one day, but it made a very strong recovery off that bounce here, and it kind of held right below the 34 EMA, which is the orange line here. Now we're seeing the 5 and 8 crossover. So potentially, if this momentum can continue, we get a little bit more movement on volume here. We're going to be definitely looking for potentially at least testing the $38 range, potentially even to 40. But very interesting stuff, without a doubt. I kind of like the chart, honestly. I'm going to put some alerts out to kind of see on how this one plays out. So I'm going to be basically seeing, get an alert if it breaks that all-time high. And I'm going to kind of put alert here if it kind of breaks right below the 21 EMA, kind of going into potentially the 34 EMA here on the daily chart. Zscaler, yeah, this is another great one. I actually really like the CEO because the CEO owns like the CEO owns, I don't know, you have to look it up. I think he owns like a substantial part of the company, and he's just like, I want to make a boatload of money, and this is a great way to look at it, and really kind of a great wave to ride here. And seeing this really kind of ride up with a fantastic previous quarter and just continue to ride up that 5 and 8 moving averages. Like, this thing looks fantastic. Would I be buying up here? That's be a little more difficult question to answer there. But we could potentially see some short-term support coming around 197 to 198, and then some stronger support coming in around the 180 to the 172 range between the 21 to 34 EMAs here, so if we do get a significant pullback. But this, again, really breaking into new territory just last week, can easily potentially continue to run. If we want it to continue to run, we need to see the continuous movement with the parabolic SAR dots and with correlation between the 5 and 8 moving averages, really trying to push it higher from these levels here. Fuzzy Dice says QS call credit spreads with capital reserves to hedge if it approaches strike. Yeah, QS, that has been a wonderful stock. I actually was able to get into this stock around $28 to $30 and see it really kind of print higher here. If we're doing call credit spreads, you can definitely do that. And potentially, if you do get a downside, you can also, depending on how many shares you own, you can do some just straight covered calls against it if you are a little bit afraid of that, to kind of protect the position. And if you want to protect the position, you can always just buy straight puts. But again, with those, beta decay is going to hurt you, and really look at that at the beginning. And it really kind of comes down to what your cup of tea is and what your kind of poison is on the sense of how much you want to protect the overall position. Because again, this thing talking about being substantially ramping up and that FOMO kicking in, it has like this kind of like weird pattern where it does like a somewhat of a cup, breaks out, somewhat of a cup, breaks out, potentially coming down to short-term support around 105, even down to 96. This stock can come all the way down to $70, and the trend still would be going continuously higher. $70 basically getting the stock cut even in half when it hit its $132 range there. But wow, great looking stock. Mental Run. Hey man, what are your thoughts on NNDM? It's an Israelis. Yeah, I'm very familiar with NNDM. Yeah, ARC loves it. I think NNDM is doing some fantastic stuff, especially in the 3D printing space. With them, I think they're I think if I remember reading it right or listening, it's the only 3D company, printing company that's able to do 3 or 4 levels of printed circuit boards via the printing machine. And that's kind of a special sauce, I think, and a lot of people are a little psyched about that, a little happy. Really seeing this potentially trying to kick higher here. It has been really breaking out, because again, I know I'm familiar with Cathie Wood and ARC. I believe they were buying it way back here around like the $2 to $3 range, and they haven't sold it. I've been watching the reports on a daily basis and seeing what they're potentially acquiring and what they're getting rid of. With that being said, initially next target's going to be around $11.42. With my longer dated targets, it's going to be around $25. I think $25 could be met if this kind of gets a little bit more of a larger spotlight on it and really gets some acclimates from the other various components in the business. Because again, 3D printing, this is not your 3D printing with your little system, with your little gears and 3D printing in your home. This is a basically commercial ready space grade technology that is very much like cutting edge. We all know those Israelis are always on top of that high tech, cutting edge new stuff. Everything from spying to technology, just to basically really just knock out things and just really pushing the envelope for the future. With that being said, the initial short-term support is going to be around $8.09, with substantial stronger support around the $7 to around $6.50 to the downside there. Hopefully that was helpful, my friend. Everyone loves IPOC. Everyone loves Chamath Palihapitiya. Someone talks about, okay, Daniel says ABLM. Okay, that's a penny stock, and that is a wonderful gain if you're in that. I have nothing to answer on that one. Someone says S-Fix. I love my Stitch Fix boxes. This thing has really kind of, I thought Amazon would take this over, to be quite honest, because Amazon, I think everyone kind of puts the Amazon pressure on too much sometimes, on the sense of like, oh, Amazon's going to take it over. Oh, Amazon's going to crush them. Stitch Fix, monster quarter last quarter, and a beat and raise, really skyrocketing here, holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. Next overhead pressure is going to be around $78 and some downside short-term support around $63, with some more significant support around $58 to $52. Because again, it's going to be a very large range because it has had a very large gap up. That being said, potentially looking for this to kind of pull back a little bit, but this again, if you really believe on, I use the product, I would love for them to sponsor me. I'm wearing the fantastic SpaceX shirt with Rocket Man on here, Spaceman, and really seeing that kind of go through here. I love it though. Love it. Someone said PLTR. Yeah, PLTR. Yeah, I just did a video on this one. Potentially kind of, I don't know if this is going to be breaking out, but this thing again has just had so much momentum build up in here. A lot of people were getting flustered on being short, being long, whatever. But now seeing it kind of trade sideways, kind of my favorite kind of thing to see. It's been kind of holding that $28 to $27 range pretty much here. And while the longer dated moving averages, the yellow, which is the 21, and the 34, which is the orange line, have been catching up here slowly, steady eddies here, and potentially going to be giving it a little boost higher and potentially seeing these kind of potentially break up to $30 plus with PLTR. If we don't, we're going to be seeing some levels around $24, going to be some first initial support going there. Earl G, what's up, my friend? Thoughts on QCOM and Skyworks? You're welcome. So, QCOM, full disclosure, I love them. QCOM, I think QCOM is going to be a very large play for me on my long-term account, and I'm going to start posting that more within the Patreon page and the YouTube membership tab on what my longer term positions are, instead of just posting some trade ideas and just some various options that are again short terms that you normally play, and that can be getting in and out pretty fast. But QCOM is a very long-term play for me, really tying in not just the 5G, but just being the Internet of Things and just kind of connecting everything. They're really the leader here. You can kind of see that with the stock the past couple months, kind of coming down to the 34, 50 day a couple times and just bouncing around that range, but really getting that fruition and getting that strength and kind of getting back up off the ground here and really seeing it kind of rocket higher. With that being said, that's what I'm kind of seeing happening here, and really seeing this potentially rocket higher to of the 160 to the range. With that being said, my first initial target is going to be around that $170 range for my longer dated targets, and really focusing on that $200 target as well to the upside. Again, this is going to be a longer term play for me. This is long-term options leaps and just a more of a isolation on just owning the stock. And then you said Skyworks. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Okay. So this thing has literally just been bouncing around here, having a lot of overhead pressure around 155 to 156, and really not being able to get out of that range. Again, kind of coming back down here, kind of selling off a couple days here, and some more of a downtrend here. Finally seeing the 5 and 8 moving averages above the 200 EMA, and potentially seeing this movement run higher. Mental run. I am currently in NNDM. Yes. How many shares? How many shares? Let's see. Let me tell you. I am actually in options leaps with those. No, sorry, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Let's see here. I'm in a little over 7,000 shares. Sorry. 700. My bad. 700 shares. Yes, 700 shares. And I've been in there since. Been adding it every once. My cost base is basically around $5. So that's where I've been in there. No, I don't mind if I would tell you if it was too personal. I just had to look up to confirm. Okay, I missed a couple things. So Skyworks, yeah, Skyworks has kind of just been bouncing around here. Clearly some overhead pressure around the 155 range. And because again, you've seen it fail here once, basically twice and 3 times here. Maybe 4th time's a charm, and really seeing it break out with the next target being around 160. If that doesn't break the 155 range, we could potentially see it come back down to 150, even to 145. So that's with that. Again, we'll see how that one plays out. I currently have nothing in that one. Oh yeah, you have much more than I do. So you're much more into NNDM again. I have pretty strict rules on what I can add and not add to my portfolio and different kind of size. Can we do very well? Can we get over BFT? Yikes! This is a SPAC. I don't know what they're acquiring, but this is a great looking chart. With these SPACs again, it's kind of a coin flip, lack of better words, and seeing how it plays out with that particular movement. Again, not really much I can add there. Again, if you're looking here just strictly on the trend, short-term support is going to be coming around the 8 EMA around 1436, and some stronger support around the 21, which is around 1317, and then substantially stronger support around the 12-ish range. Ariel, don't give away our strategy. Yes, Ariel is the wonderful person who brought NNDM to my brain, and he has been in it much longer than I have, and I'm just piggybacking off of him. So God bless him. Yep. We can talk about Tesla. Let's go look at Tesla. So Tesla, very interesting stock over the last couple days. Really seeing again with it being added to the S&P 500, we saw it pretty much fluctuate again. Not sure on what your positioning is within Tesla, but this is a stock that has been really much aggressively been bought, sold over the last week. Like absolutely insane. Like this chart doesn't actually give it the best picture, to be quite honest. We kind of really have to go to like an hour or like an hourly 20-minute chart like this. This really kind of sums it up. Like imagine going home and seeing the stock of like, yeah, Ariel, are you in Israel? Ariel, you got a fan. So basically, with Tesla, imagining it seeing at 700 and then falling into a coma or whatever, and then 2 days later you wake up and you see it at 614, with that kind of movement here. If this, again, I don't think this chart even actually really helps and sums it up here, and really seeing it on how it plays out here, with these aggressive moves here. And it was very much a bucking bronco, and really kind of a time where you just had to like really double check on pinching yourself on what was going on and some of the prices that you were seeing and some of the volume increases and really swings and sways within the market here. Again, but if you zoomed out to the daily chart, it didn't even touch the 21 EMA. Okay, so that trend was still pretty much strong, with the system that I like to use, with the 21 and 34 kind of being somewhat of my guiding light. This is definitely something to be very much a value add, on really kind of looking back at and really zooming out on a much larger time frame here and really seeing on how it plays out. Initially looking for some, again, substantial strong support around 611, and even stronger support around the 575, with those two levels. Again, the target is still 700. That target is 700. This is a stock that, again, I'm a long-term investor in. I love. I hope to acquire and purchase one of their cars in the coming years, with that target being at 700 initially. But again, those longer dated targets, I hate to say it, is $1,000. I know a lot of people are kind of going crazy, but that is something that I think Tesla has a substantial growth ahead. But the stock could come back down. Like, again, I'm not going to say it can't have any kind of headwinds, it can't have a pullback, but that's why, again, we could see it back down to 500. Who knows? Like, I don't have a crystal ball. I just know that the long-term projections, because again, the moving averages are looking nice, the volume zone oscillators are looking fine as of right now. But if we get a huge flush here, we can definitely see some selling off here. Again, Tesla does have a cult following, so be very mindful of that. Oh, right. Yeah, pay safe. I saw that. Uh, is that a deal with Microsoft? Oh, I didn't know that. A CLF. What's CLF? Is that an energy company? Oh, this is okay. Cleveland Cliffs. I don't know what this is. Nice looking chart here, to be quite honest. It's holding that 5 and 8 moving average, continue to grind higher. It's not even on the overbought, and the volume zone oscillator is very low at this level, being at such a high level. I think this could continue to slowly grind higher. Again, I'm not sure what this company is, but it looks very purdy, as they say, and really kind of potentially could touch that $50 range. With, again, you can see it has been holding the 5 and 8 moving averages here in the daily chart. But kind of that angle of attack has kind of been stooping a little bit lower. So we could get an initial pullback to potentially 13 to even 1280, and the trend will still just be just fine there, my friend. NNDM did another offering. Arrow, did you hear that? Another chance to potentially buy the dip. Um, let's see here. Uh, Steel Iron Ore Company. Yeah, that's a very interesting business to be in right now, especially with the mining stuff. But NIO. I was gonna ask when it was gonna take for someone to talk about NIO. So NIO, of course, the doing air quotes, the Chinese Tesla. This thing, very rocky kind of movement here. Initially, speaking of this, to be completely frank with you, it did stay above that $45.60 range, which I was looking at for that support to stay above the 21 EMA here. Um, we could potentially see this come lower, but again, with a squeeze setting up, the only thing I want to see some more volume come into the stock to kind of get some of the mojo stewing here and really to potentially get it kicking higher here. With, again, that level of initial support resistance around the $50 range. We saw a pretty strong recovery here earlier, kind of with a somewhat modest V-shaped bottom here, but we hit that $50 range and just fell flat on our face and just kind of came right back down. There are some stuff probably behind the scenes that we have no idea what's going on here with NIO. They do have their NIO, basically their investor day or their conference, and they're going to be showing off new vehicles and new technology or whatever in the beginning of January. But they also have to be very well aware of the stuff that the U.S. Senate and Congress and our government is looking and potentially putting on the folks on the Chinese companies on trying to do a larger regulations on the sense of their financial documentation and their overall earnings and all the other stuff that has them being able to be traded here in the United States. They have to follow some stronger regulations regarding on some of their accounting principles, things. Let's just say it that way. Alan, what's up, my friend? RSA, Ken, damn, keep forgetting to mention I made John Carter's music video before. RJ, damn, Ken, keep forgetting to mention I made John Carter's music video. Oh, really? Nice. Let's see. More leaps era. Roger Dodger. Gotcha. Loves that NNDM. VERB. What is that? Interesting. What? What is this? This is a very choppy, kind of a messy chart here, but I don't know. This is a weird. I just looked at this and I had a weird, like, this stock could go somewhere, but we're seeing a lot of potential overhead pressure on $2. It is a penny stock, but this looks interesting to me for some reason. I don't know what they do, but the chart looks interesting here. Yeah, I knew it. It was having significant amount of resistance around the 618 here on the weekly side, around $2.21. If we do get the momentum and really potentially break out above this, the next overhead level is around $2.61, with the real target being around 313. But with this overall trend, if it wants to continue, the real target is going to be around $3.78 for the first target if you're really, really going to play that particular movement in the stock. I'm gonna let's see here. I never saw that art. I have to check it out. I just saw you linked. I just copied the YouTube video. Ariel says NAO plus Apple equals happy Ariel. uh, Ken, what do you tell me what you think about inflation this year? Inflation with the amount of stuff that the Fed's doing on basically just saying we're going to be a permanent backstop for basically and not raising any kind of rates for a significant amount of time. That's going to be something to be kind of looking at in the sense of inflation and how that particular could move on how fast they start adding and increasing the potential the rates here. Because again, we're flat and we are having a lot of basically, I'm not saying free money, but nothing's free in life, but some things could be made easier just with the Fed basically driving a Lambo right now and just throwing out cash out of the top of the window, just signaling, hey, everything's just going to be just fine. Just don't worry. The party's going to last for a while. That's the way I kind of look at it. No way Alibaba is going to have a rough few weeks. Jack Ma ain't deserve this. It doesn't matter if he deserves this. It's the Chinese government just slapping him across the face. It's something that, again, people don't care about the stock. Like the Chinese government, they'll can it in a heartbeat. They canned the IPO just over in like a couple days before it was supposed to go public. Yeah. What do you think about the medical ticker symbol EDT? Let's look at it. EDT. It's spinning. I'm not seeing it come up though. Maybe I mistyped it. Let's see here. Okay, a lot of chats coming in, folks. Thank you. What do you think about Oh, sorry, I missed someone. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I don't know if I can play it on the stream. If it's even a parody, is it allowed? I always forget that. Like again, I already have. I think I got one strike on YouTube because I played something on a live stream that was like I believe from CNBC, and I got maybe a warning. I think it was on that kind of thing. CCP. Oh, the CCP is the Chinese bar. Yeah, the Chinese government just giving a big smack in the face. What do you think about MDB? MDB. Wow. Wow. Very interesting chart here as well. Wow. What does this company do? Wow. Interesting. If you're in this, my friend, fantastic trade, my friend. That is beautiful looking chart. It has had some like rough opportunities, but this last quarter really drove it higher. And really, I gotta look at what this company does. MDB stock. Is an American software company that develops and provides commercial support for opening source databases, Mongo. Okay, I know what this is now. I like this just because it's totally on. Is this really a direct competitor to SQL, like SQL database services via oh my god, Oracle? That's what I love. If that is the direct thing, I just had to buy this because I'm just not a big fan of Oracle. With that being said, some short-term support is going to be coming around 366 with some stronger support coming around 331, potentially looking to break above 400 easily here if we do get that button higher. I agree. Hey, I'm Eric. Yeah, there is no bottom for me with Alibaba yet, just because the news is still fresh and anything can really happen in the next couple of hours or weeks, really coming to the end of the year. You bought 1,100 shares on Thursday. You bought 100 shares of Alibaba or NDB? Um, I think the way I look at it, will they hurt their golden goose? Like, I don't think they care. Like, I think they'll cut it. Like, they'll do anything to really put anyone in their place in the sense of like showing that they are the true nature. If anyone talks against them or anything regarding them, even if you're the Oracle of China, aka Jack Ma, that they'll still slap you no matter what. They're just still gonna take you out and give you a nice little showing you who's boss. Cody, I recommend Unusual Whales. Is that good? I've talked to them a couple times. You like using them? Are they just showing something like the black box or the algo flow shows, just but with a different variance on it? Oh, you bought 100. Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. That stings. Oh my gosh. It's an open database. Love it. I need to buy that company. If it's an open database, I hate that kind of a breaking down of just, especially the way the Oracle does things. I'm not usually a big fan of how they really strangle small companies on trying to acquire their silly licenses for a product that is very just minuscule and just crappy. Mm, um, eBay. Someone's talking about eBay. What? Okay. What's the next stock you're looking at, or the next few weeks? I love my AMD. AMD, I think it can probably potentially find some stronger support around $90 to $89, and potentially move higher from here. And I also love the stock symbol U. Again, this thing has not really had the opportunity for me to buy. I kind of want to at least see it below 150 to around 150 to around 140 to potentially add into it. But the one I like as well, just to kind of be in the SPAC again, talking about a video I just made, was RTP. I think this stock again is a SPAC. It's got Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, a large person in PayPal, and a slew of other great companies he's invested in. Think this is going to be somewhat of a sleeper here, and not many people are talking about it because it's not the sexiest thing. It looks like the futures are, yeah, it looks like the NASDAQ can kind of, the goals, like, this is the stuff that I don't like, kind of been strange if you've been trading for quite some time. Like, how is gold up at the same time you have the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ up? Like, usually that was like a tandem trade, but now you have gold up, you have Bitcoin up. The only thing that is slightly down is the VIX here, which is going to be somewhat normal due to the fact of the stimulus bill being passed and potentially adding substantially amount more money on the tail end for individual folks. Is that a stock, really? Wow, okay. Falling into the penny category here as well, so it's not really my cup of tea, but this thing has just been completely parabolic here. And as long as it holds this 5 and 8 moving averages, this movement is still alive here. But if we start getting a close below the 8 EMA here, or the parabolic SAR dots, which is currently looking around the 365 to 375, we could get potentially some downward support around $3 to 275. Why don't people just host their own DB? I think hosting their own DB could get very complex. But again, what a lot of people are doing now, which my company just kind of recently did the last 2 years, is just basically move everything into the cloud. Like, there is no more local stuff, and just having spooling up the server just instantly like that. You don't have to call up Dell or HP saying, hey, I need a server that I need a server, I need a SAN set up with X amount of terabytes, I need to connect it, blah, blah, blah. There's no more worrying about that. You don't get the call at 2 in the morning saying, hey, Ken, get your ass down to the server room. We need to fix a hard drive, or something's malfunctioning because the Ethernet cable popped out, or whatever. Like, it's no longer having to deal. There's someone else dealing with that. Now it's Amazon calling one of their folks, like, hey, get down there right now. Right there. No. Didn't mention the utility. I saw it like 90. That was like the dip. MTL. I'll check it out. Interesting. Again, this is not really in the penny stocks, ladies and gentlemen. Here, too much. This is just like too much kind of sideways action. This could easily run back up to $2.60, even up to $3. But this is not really my kind of cup of tea. Uh, I think gold is. I think people always say, should I own gold? I own GLD, to be quite honest with you. I own GLD just to have. I'm kind of somewhat of the old school sometimes on having a small percentage of the portfolio in gold. It used to be like almost 10%. Now it's like less than like 3% in the portfolio is gold. On like not physical gold, but stock, GLD, gold. But I think I forget who was talking about it earlier, was that if we do get inflation going and things like that, and our currency gets devalued even more, gold, Bitcoin, whatever, it could be a potential hedge against that and potentially kind of move the markets either direction and kind of see on how things pan out from that. Alan, yes. Is that what was the? I think that was John Oliver who did a bit about him about being Winnie the Pooh and how much he hates being called Winnie the Pooh. I love it. So much fun. Yeah, REITs are a good thing. Like definitely REITs. We have to be very careful on finding out what assets they own. Um, Raman, Ken, what do you do for work? So I currently still work as a full-time job. I am I run an IT department for a small company here in Virginia, in Arlington. Um, Jack, what's up, Tech? At the moment, I'm pretty much looking for companies that are doing things to do towards. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I think that's a really good way to look at it. AQMS is one. AQMS. Wow, really? Well, that's a pretty substantial move here. That is wow. Whew. Man, oh man, that is a great move there. I'm just gonna put an alert out here if it can break $3.67. It's gonna be pretty substantial. That might be a while, or it might be next week. Who knows? Greg Beast looks as JF. Can we take a look at waste management? Yes, I own waste management for my longer dated portfolio. Um, People are going to always have trash, right? I think commercial trash, like construction and restaurants, things like that, was a pretty large part of their business. That kind of has gone away, especially on the restaurant side. But people are still making trash. We've still got the same amount of people, and we're still consuming a lot and just throwing a lot of stuff away. With that movement here, we're looking for potentially try to break above that 117 to 118 range. With that movement potentially kind of kicking higher. Again, this is not a Tesla. This is not a crazy stock that has pretty large moves up or down. This is just kind of what of a steady eddy. Even with the whole market downswing, it did kind of come back quite a bit, but we're still saw some very interesting activity going forth here. Really, again, it's got to pay a nice healthy dividend. I'm pretty sure they're going to raise it if the coming months, if everything goes well with the overall market. But this is definitely something to, if you want to have a nice steady eddy dividend stock, this is something that I have in my portfolio going forth. And Costco, I love my Costco. Got a Costco date coming up soon to go there and clear out some stuff there. Nice little bounce here. I talked about this on a video last week. Talking about some stock ideas I like in the near future. Some trade ideas looking for that bounce around 359 to 360. We did see some of that come through. It's still not a full-on bounce and really strong recovery here, but we're looking for this potentially to run up to the 367 to the 370 range and potentially trying to break above that to the upside. Christopher, yes, thank you for joining tonight, my friend. And yes, I would consider it somewhat of a safe haven. Nothing safe completely, but it's again, Waste Management is a company that buys up a lot of smaller trash companies, and it just kind of falls into their monster of a company. I don't do a lot of dividend stocks, to be quite honest. It's something that I don't really do. I kind of do. My idea is once I grow the channel and I really step into becoming a full-time investor and trader, is really breaking down on making multiple portfolios and really driving into the teaching method of why I'm picking things and why I'm doing certain things and just sharing that with the folks. It's kind of difficult right now since I'm trying to trade full time, and trade and invest and watch the markets at the same time doing YouTube and at the same time running a full time job. So it's a lot of stuff going on. I want to, again, this is not a overnight process of just trying to make the best thing possible, but really trying to make a substantial contribution to folks who don't have the resources or the knowledge, on the sense of many years of mistakes on my behalf on trying to potentially look at the charting side, and really potentially really much just kind of just on the valuation side, in the sense of like on your risk to reward kind of analysis on that. um what are your thoughts on AIRT? AIRT. No thoughts, and God bless you. Was this like a smack or something? No, it wasn't. There's something here. Like that's just gone completely parabolic. And some kind of news broke, and this just went to the races and just went skyrocketing higher, and just didn't care and just kept on going. um, Hotline says you. Yes, we just talked about you a little bit ago. I love this company. Like, again, people are. This is not just a video game based software. Movies are using this. Okay, The Mandalorian is using their software to use in their dome, and really kind of project these high polygons and spaces on their large ass screens during the filming. So this technology is going to be fantastic. I think Unity software is just really going to be a pretty large kingpin in this thing of things. I'm really just trying to have it come back down a little bit, just a little bit, so I can nibble on it. Really, just going to be asking for 150. I'm going to potentially put some size in there, but that being said, I got to be very careful. I really want to be I'm kind of just sitting in my hands, just kind of waiting, but I don't want to be jumping out and just kind of taking it over. Tech, yeah, Lemonade has been fantastic. Wow. Yeah, Lemonade and Chewy. David G, what's up, my friend? Yes, fantastic. Ken, did you say that Stephen Graham is investing 100? Ken, did you see that Stephen Graham is investing 100? Investing $100,000 following the pick of actual monkey. That's funny. I think that comes back to I think it was a Wall Street Journal article in like early 2000s or late 90s, where a hedge fund had a monkey and they were just throwing the monkey having thrown darts at a board, and it was just picking its stocks, and they outperformed the market and beat like majority of other people. I think that's very possible. I think a monkey can make a lot of money in a bull market, but it takes other people on the sense of understanding of making money year after year, even if it is a sideways action market. Again, for example, if you're looking at like 2015 to 2016, very sideways action in the market, were you able to make money those years? That really kind of performs on if you're a monkey or not. Yeah, definitely. That art chart looks absolutely went into ludicrous mode. Christopher, can we check out Solo? Yes. So Solo is that, I believe, a Canadian company, right? Ooh, Christopher. Nice pick. I just looked at this chart and I love it. I love it again. This is fantastic. Beautiful support here. I'm writing this down tomorrow. Love it. Putting a circle by the thing, and I'm gonna say thank you, Christopher. I like this chart setup. Look at this pattern. So what I like here, and just looking at it within like 10 seconds, huge movement higher, got out all the weak hands, came down to the 21, tapped the 34 a little bit here with the falling parabolic SAR dots, but has made it pretty substantial sideways action coming through here. Again, with the squeeze setting up higher, RSI, and I want the volume zone oscillator to go positive and stay above, not go in the negative territory. We currently see it at -9, which is basically zero for me. And really to potentially hold above that $7 range or $6.95 and really see a break to potentially the 826. So this is something I'm going to be definitely trying to potentially add some options into this one. Definitely a very good looking chart there. And thank you for bringing it to my attention there, Chris. And can you share your thoughts on SBE? Yeah, SBE, I think there's some rumors going about this one. This is the one that's like this is the company that makes like the I think is part of, I think it's Joe Biden's plan, I think, that he's trying to add like 10 gazillion chargers stations throughout the United States. And of course, they're going to be a huge, I think this is the Switchback Energy Company. I think this is the same thing I'm talking about, where it's really just acquiring the basically creating this network and really going to be piggybacking on that legislature going forth. I think that's what I'm thinking about. Looking here at the chart here, beautiful looking chart, kind of coming back to the 21 EMA again, bouncing off of it. $45 really being a strong range, with the next target being above 65. Again, if the market continues to print higher and go higher like this, I think we can easily see that $65 range there. I'm flying 308. Can we talk about Tdoc? So Tdoc, Tdoc, very interesting stock as well. Really was considered more of a pandemic kind of stock, and a lot of people owned it because of it. Because again, no one's going to the doctor; everyone's just calling their doctor on their cell phone and doing FaceTime like that. Basically, the market leader in this. Initially, looking at this one, it's kind of came out of its recovery phase around that $196 to $200 range, and now seeing it trying to break out here. With a little bit of overhead pressure coming in around the 212 to 215 range. If we can get above that, because again, we've seen, so that's where it broke down initially here, and also here as well, potentially looking for 220 to even 230 to the upside. And the 230 is going to be the next really strong overhead if we do even get to that level there. I wish I bought more U. I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people really got shorthanded there. I think that, like, again, one of the hotter IPOs this year without a doubt. Yeah, Finn. Yeah, ARK loves Tdoc. They really do, don't they? I see them buy that all the time. MB63. I don't trade Bitcoin. I did buy some an ETF called GBTC, which is basically a Bitcoin trust company, and that's how I have my exposure to it. I don't use Coinbase anymore. There's no reason. I just haven't. I'd rather just own this ETF, honestly. Can we go over GME? Yeah, we can do some GameStop. This is, again, Wall Street Bets, one of the favorite stocks here. Holy moly guacamole here. quarter wasn't great, kind of held that 34 EMA and then just rocketed higher here. Really bursted past that $20 level, which we talked about, potentially going higher here, and now seeing it even potentially even try to test $25. I think it can potentially even run up to $25. That being said, I don't have any position in this stock right now. It moved too fast for me to kind of get any kind of position in it. But this thing has just been going and has been going gangbusters here and just continue to grind higher. Again, with some short data support around $19.28. Even some support coming down to $17.36. Yeah, I think you're right, Ken. Thanks for you're welcome, my friend. Okay, hold on. G Pro, please. G Pro. I have honestly, I think I might have told you this already, my friend. A very negative association with this company. I traded this way back when it first came out and about in like 2014, 2015. I didn't buy it here at $100, but I did buy it here around like the $50 range, and then got shooken out of it basically around 40. I don't know, probably down here somewhere. And again, I just haven't touched it ever since then. And I did trade it on and off. What year was that? There was like a year where it was just like bouncing around and I was just kind of getting in out of it. I think that was like later stages here where just kind of just bouncing around. I just kind of was, when I was starting getting into options in like 2015, I was just selling premium money because it still had some very large amount of implied volatility. With that being said, where do I see it going today? Where can we be looking at the chart here? This one being said, a very nice move higher here. I don't know what the secret sauce with GoPros. I think it's still just the square camera, but I know they've innovated some really cool stabilization kind of technology on that. Initially looking here for some support around $8.13. Let's call it $8.15. But if this trend wants to continue holding higher, staying above the 34 EMA, that $11.92 is still potentially intact. So very interesting trade there without a doubt. Christopher, thank you, my friend. Have a great day. Let's do a couple more here. I am also getting very tired as well and need my beauty sleep. Let's see here. Someone says Plug. Plug has definitely been one, again, with the EV movement really ripping higher here. With this squeeze, we looked at for some potential overhead resistance around 36. Again, that has hit that resistance because we've bounced off it for a little bit. We could be just kind of trading sideways around the $36 to $35 range, and potentially coming back down to the 33 to 32. But substantial pullback would put us back to around $30. But if we do kind of trade sideways and kind of get that moving averages to higher prices, some next target's going to be potentially the $50 to $52 range. Again, seems insane, but this market has been very frothy, so anything can happen. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm missing a couple. Mark 2004 says LG. This is the what is this one? This is the Bill Gates one, right? Yeah, this one is definitely interesting as well. I do like this is very interesting activity the last 3 or 4 days of last week, and really seeing it kind of kick higher here with these SPACs. It's so hard and really kind of giving it a accurate price, but easily looking for movement here to around that $25 to $26 range. Again, once it gets acquired and moving in here, really potentially can get really some further information and looking at the chart at a more direct scope and really seeing how it plays out. But check out SRAC. SRAC. So another SPAC here. Again, SPACs. I'm totally losing my mind on SPACs here. Really looking for a potential bounce here on the 21 EMA. This can easily break 20 to run to $25 depending on where it's kind of getting their cash from. I have no idea who's running behind this SPAC. Usually not really getting too much into that. Alan, good night, my friend, and I hope happy tradings for you for this week. Sir Jamie says LMDM. Yeah, we can look at Lemonade. LMDM. This is a stock that kind of got away from me. I wanted to buy here down at this range around the $56 to $60 range. For some reason, got flustered and just never really haven't got back, and never really, again, I never checked my alerts. Maybe too many alerts went off at one time. I just never got back to it. Whatever, I'm human. But really missed this huge run higher here. We had it again from the swing higher to lower. The target was around basically 110, and another target was around 128, which are those fib levels that we're talking about here. Both have been met with, again, very aggressive actions coming here with the 5 and 8 moving average continue to grind higher here. With that being said, that 128 to 140 range, 140 range to 150 range, it would be the next targets we could potentially looking for. Being a little bit on the overbought side, so this trend could be really normal. It can come all the way back to 110, and that trend will be just fine. So yeah. CFII. So actually, that's interesting you bring that one up. So CFII is a stock that I'm currently in as well. Another SPAC. Basically, this is the Windows or the stock that is the company that's doing like the wellness for building, if I'm correct. SP. I liked their technology. I thought it was pretty interesting watching their presentation and reading about them. So I put it in bought a couple hundred shares. Nice move so far. Like again, I bought it very early on, around the $9 and really kind of coming into a nice little profit as of currently speaking. But again, this is in my longer dated account, so I'm just kind of being a little bit careful here and just really kind of selling any kind of profit, because again, these SPACs take time and really just have to sit in your hands and really kind of wait and see what happens. I saw AMD. Yeah, we look at AMD. Of course, that's my bay. With AMD and TSM are my bays. My two favorite stocks. Initially looking for some support coming in this week around $89 to $90. And really potentially kind of hovering above that, or potentially bouncing off those levels and trying to break above 95, with looking to potentially would be a wonderful, great Christmas gift. An early New Year's Eve movement would be potentially breaking above $100. That'd be fantastic. I really great appreciate that if the market guides could do that for me. We did SBE, but we did not do blank. What's the ticker symbol for that? It's like BL and K. Okay, you got it. Okay. So this again, taking off, this whole EV movement stuff has really just ratcheted up these stocks like crazy. With the QS, you got this one, you got Of course, Tesla, NIO, all these other companies, I can just go on and on. Plug is really just grinding higher here. This thing again, looking for again with the 5 and 8 moving averages, really pushing it higher here. Initial short-term support around 43, with stronger support around $30 to $28, with the next target being around 66. So really kind of keeping again. No one has a crystal ball. No one can tell you where it's going to be happening. So you have to kind of keep an eye out on what you are willing to risk and what you're willing to kind of get in and out of, depending on where the stock goes. But oh, okay, that's cool. Uber, that's interesting. Uber's getting $1 billion analysis. Let's see here. MELA. Oh, MELI. Yeah, this thing. This is just killing it, ladies and gentlemen. This thing easily going to be looking again a little bit of toppy heavy pattern here because we kind of had that break of the parabolic SER dots here on the purple dots here. Potentially, this can come back down to the $1,600 range, and everything would be just fine here. But the next target be around $1,771 to the upside. But yeah, this is a very strong looking chart. So the 21 EMA is basically going to be a pretty strong level of support if it does want to kind of pull back for you. So this is RMG. So RMG is ring, I believe. Okay, maybe it's not. Holy moly. What is this? Oh my God. These SPACs are crazy, ladies and gentlemen. This is insane. How does something go? Like, what is this? Wow. What is this? What is like? I don't even know what this like company that like. There's not really much we can say here, honestly, because it has not had a pullback and it's basically just been breaking out and just gone parabolic. Like, really potentially need to keep some kind of pullback to around the 25 to even the $20 range. This somewhat will be still intact in the short term. It can come all the way back down to 25. If you want to be a little bit more longer term trading, like a couple months to longer stated weeks, it can come back down to 20 to even down to $18, and this trend is still continue going higher. So, wow. I have nothing really to add on this one. This has just been a, if you're in it, fantastic. Pat on the back. Love you. What do you think about IDEX? Yeah, I seen that one kind of run a couple weeks back, right? This, yeah, okay, this member, okay, yeah, I think this one, like solo. Again, I don't know how this fits into the EV puzzle here, but the chart looks somewhat okay here. We have the 21 and 34 kind of coming in for support around the $2 to $1.80 range, and potentially looking for some overhead movement here. If we can kind of see a movement to the $2.75, kind of breaking past the parabolic SAR dots and the 618 as well there. Dude, just finding about the crazy SPAC EV train. The crazy stuff as in SPACs has been blowing my mind. Mohammed says CLDR. Yes, I like this stock as well. It's had a nice little breakout here, which again you can see here around the $14.20 range, and looking to go higher here with a little bit of pullback and sideways action. Really looking for $16, and then longer term looking for 25. I think this is a great company. I think they do fantastic stuff. That doesn't mean the stock needs to go higher, but a little bit more longer term play for me on this one. But I bought some shares here on this little potential breakout and seeing on how it plays from there. Because again, this can come all the way down to around the 1266 to 1250 range, and the trend will still be fairly high there. THCB is going to be the next QS, you think? THCB. Wow. Yeah, looks like another. These are just insane. Nice move here. Again, these SPACs has just been absolutely insane. Nothing to really answer about that, but this is definitely some very interesting activity with these SPACs. Again, not really too much to add there. Looking at PSHT. So this is a SPAC I actually do like a lot and potentially like to see go higher here. We do have a squeeze sitting up here with some volume coming into the stock here. A little bit more hesitant. We could be seeing this come back down to 25 to even the $24 range, the higher 24s. Looking for this potential kind of coming back here a little bit, because we're seeing a little bit of pressure here around 26. I think it's kind of just been running a little bit hot because again, they haven't talked about any kind of movement towards buying anything. They're just everyone's just speculating what they're going to be potentially buying. If I only buy one stock forever, what would be Tesla? Let's see here. Ken, what is your favorite stock for this week that should run? I don't know when anything could run, but I love my AMD. AMD and TSM. Love PayPal. I like Costco, and yeah, I kind of like Frog here too. But again, I might be building a longer term position in this. Tech, you're probably a good. I like your opinions on the tattoo chef. Like, if anyone's familiar, I love going to Costco, and I never see their stuff sold out ever. It's always completely full. Not saying that is something to be completely skewed on, but I just don't see people buying it. I don't see it in people's carts. I go to Costco at least once a week, and I just also always see it full. Thoughts on you? I love you. I want it back down to 150 or below so I can buy some. Please look at NURO. NURO. Yeah, I can't really add much in this one. This is again a very aggressive like penny stock, and seeing a lot of like a Richter scale kind of moves here with again a lot of volume and then comes back down. A lot of volume comes back down. This is more, from my standpoint, more of a day trading stock rather than just an investment. MF, that is fantastic. This is more of a spectacular year. Love it. But don't forget about SQ. I love SQ. Ride, yeah. Lordstown has kind of made a comeback. Same with Workhorse. Really kind of coming back here. These stocks have been super choppy here between just kind of this movement here. we have a lot of overhead pressure on $24 and really a lot of overhead pressure on 27. So these stocks going to be moving quite a bit again within the EV markets. What do you reckon? Yeah, I kind of like Solo. I think Chris, one of the fantastic YouTube members, brought this up to my standing here. Looking for it's like the $7 range to hold, potentially even down to $6.50. But looking for this potentially to break out to kind of get back up to the $8.26 to $9 range within this move again. With we see a lot of those EVs move, we could see this potentially kind of go with it as well. What is my relative percentage gains this month? In the last 2 months, last month I was up, my trading account, I was up nearly 37 to 40%. And my long-term investing account, maybe 25, maybe 20%. I know over the last 2 months, I've almost doubled in my trading account. Rocket Mortgage. Ugh. Yeah, this thing has like again a lot of love and hate on this one. A lot of people have got their really got their tails cut off here. What platform are you using? I'm using Thinkorswim, my friend. Really with this kind of sideways action and just really just not really going anywhere and catching a lot of people who don't have the patience or really kind of waiting for the long game here, which again really shook a lot of people out because again it had that huge move higher on its very first couple weeks of trading here and kind of came right back down with that movement here, looking for again just that sideways action coming in between that 21 to like $19 range and just continue to bounce excuse me, up and down and really see on how that plays out again. It's kind of, I would consider it somewhat of a longer term buy here, but you really have to really play that long game there. We did IDEX, not really my favorite cup of tea, a little bit too lower priced, but I think it could potentially break out to like the 226 to 250 range. Any call option plays for tomorrow? Normally, I have to wait to see how the market takes in the stimulus package, and we'll see it from there. Some call options, yeah, I love my TSM and AMD. Tesla's a good buy at this level. Thank you, Manny. Tesla, a good buy at this level. Relatively speaking, depending on what your time horizon is, I have no idea if you're just trying to day trade it or you're trying to invest in it. I would say maybe, but it just comes down to what your movement is or what you're willing to risk here. I would like to buy Tesla on a further pullback, but you might never ever get that pullback. Like, not saying ever, ever, never, but it just takes a little bit more time for Tesla to kind of get a pullback in the overall market. Yeah, I think it's again with a lot of those SPACs, especially like Rocket, it takes 2, 3, 4, 6 months, or sorry, 2 to 3, 4 quarters, so over a year to 18 months to kind of get a proper price, and you really start seeing it potentially kind of print higher there. It has definitely been a bonkers 9 months. Yes, you can say that. What's my Discord chat? Do I have that here available? Let's see here. I always forget how to share this stuff, folks. Invite people. I think this is how you get to the Discord. I think that takes you to the Discord. Mandy, you're saying 4 to 6 months. a little bit more difficult with 4 to 6 months. Because again, if I give you 4 to 6 months, like my time horizon for is like 4 to 6 plus years for Tesla. But um, if you're understanding how to sell premium, I think you could potentially sell puts on this one and really seeing how it plays out. But that being said, the 4 to 6 month time frame is really difficult to really put on to Tesla because again, Tesla I believe has to make that $500,000 cars made this year. But we'll see on how that plays out. If they do able to make that record, I think that stock could run up to that $700 range. That being said, some short-term support is going to be coming around 612 to 615 around the 21 EMA. So kind of keep an alert on that one right there. JW, what's up, my friend? Yep, doing well. I'm actually getting a little bit tired here. Been streaming for about 90 minutes here. It's a little bit past midnight here, so need to get some sleepy sleep and get ready for the market basically today now, since I can't say tomorrow, so get going from there. I will definitely be doing another live stream. I do apologize for some folks who weren't able to tune in because I had to push it back 1 hour, but definitely going to be doing another live stream tomorrow. Hopefully some more updates on the stimulus bill and giving us a better parameters on the market going into the year close, and really kind of trying to do a deeper dive for folks on some longer term trends that we could be looking at for 2021. So guys, thank you. Aloha from, oh, bro, my friend, I want to go to Hawaii. That's awesome. You're watching from Hawaii. That's awesome. I really do. That's awesome. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe on the way out the window here, out the door. I don't know why you're going out the window. You didn't sneak in here spooking on me. But thank you for that, guys. I will be definitely doing another live stream potentially this week on the evening hours. Just stay tuned for that. And if you have any suggestions on stocks or videos you want to see further covered, you can go ahead and just join the Discord down below and share your thoughts there. All right, guys, please take it easy, safe trading, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.